I never believed in ghosts or monsters. I was always the rational one, the person who could explain away the creaks in the night or the shadows that seemed to move. That changed last summer. I had just moved into a small apartment on the edge of town. It wasn't fancy, but it was all I could afford on my salary from the local grocery store. The building was old, with peeling paint and floors that groaned under my feet. My neighbours kept to themselves, which was fine by me. The first few nights were normal. I would come home from work, make dinner, watch some TV, and go to bed. Nothing strange. But on the fifth night, I woke up at 3:12 a.m. I remember the time clearly because I checked my phone, annoyed at being awake. That's when I heard it. Footsteps in the hallway outside my apartment. At first, I thought it was just another tenant coming home late. The footsteps were slow, steady, but then they stopped, right at my door. I held my breath, waiting for the sound of keys or a knock. Nothing came, just silence. After what felt like hours, but was probably only minutes, the footsteps moved on, fading away down the hall. I told myself it was nothing, just someone who had stopped to check their phone or tie their shoe. But the next night, it happened again. Same time, 3:12 a.m., same footsteps, same pause at my door. This went on for a week. Each night I would wake up at exactly 3:12 a.m. to those footsteps stopping at my door. I started to dread going to bed. One night I decided to look through the peephole when the footsteps came. I waited in the dark, my heart pounding in my chest. 3:12 a.m. came, and with it, the footsteps. They stopped at my door, and I leaned forward to peer through the peephole. The hallway was empty. I rubbed my eyes, thinking I was seeing things, or rather, not seeing things that should be there. But the hallway remained empty, even as I heard the sound of someone standing right outside my door. I backed away, my hands shaking. This wasn't possible. I could hear the footsteps, but there was no one there. The next day, I asked my landlord if the building had cameras in the hallways. He looked at me strangely and said no. When I asked if anyone had ever reported anything weird happening in the building, he got quiet. Apartment 204, he asked. That was my apartment. I nodded and he sighed. There was an incident there about 5 years ago. A man broke in. The woman who lived there. She didn't make it. They caught the guy, but he didn't need to finish. I understood. That night, I stayed at a friend's place. But the night after, I had to go back. I couldn't afford a hotel, and I couldn't crash on a couch forever. As I lay in bed waiting for 3:12 a.m., I thought about the woman who had died in my apartment. Had she heard footsteps too? Had she looked through the peephole and seen nothing? 3:12 a.m. came, and with it the footsteps. They stopped at my door as always, but this time something different happened. My doorknob turned. Slowly, silently, it rotated to the right. I had locked the door, I was sure of it, but the knob kept turning. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. I just watched as the knob turned all the way, and then stopped. The footsteps walked away. I moved out the next day. I didn't care about breaking my lease or losing my security deposit. Some things are more important than money. I still don't know what was outside my door those nights. Maybe it was the ghost of the woman who died, warning me. Maybe it was something else. All I know is that I never heard those footsteps again. But sometimes at 3:12 a.m., I still wake up, and for a moment I listen, just to make sure.